All right, so picture this. You're out on the open plains, right? Wind in your hair. You've got your sights set
A
on
massive horse.
a massive horse. But there's a catch. No metal, no fancy tools, just you and whatever you can find laying around.
Just what nature provides.
Exactly. How do you take down that horse? Sounds impossible,
It
right?
does sound a little daunting, doesn't it?
It does. Well, our early ancestors did it. And they did it with a weapon so simple, yet so effective.
A wooden spear.
The wooden spear. And we're going to be diving deep into their world today.
You know, it really is incredible when you think about it, how something as basic as a sharpened stick could become such a vital tool for survival and
Yeah.
really shape our
In
history.
hundreds of thousands of years. It's crazy. We've got some incredible archaeological sites to explore today. We'll be talking about Clacton-on-Sea in England
Oh, a classic.
and Schoningen in Germany. Plus, we're going to be drawing insights from an interview with Dr. Annemiek Milks.
Oh, fantastic.
He's an expert in early spear technology, and she's done some really fascinating work replicating and testing these ancient weapons.
Yeah, Dr. Milks's work with experimental archaeology is really, I think, pushing the boundaries of what we know about early humans. It's definitely challenging some of the assumptions that we've had about their capabilities.
So let's start our journey back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly 400,000 years ago,
Okay.
we're at Clacton-on-Sea. It's 1911. And archaeologists are hard at work.
Mm-hmm.
They unearth a fragment of wood that sends ripples through the scientific community.
The Clacton spear.
It is the Clacton spear. And
Yeah.
even though it's just a fragment, it sparks this huge debate. Was it definitively a spear? Was it a game stake? Was it something else entirely?
Yeah, it really is like a puzzle with a few missing pieces. We have this tantalizing clue, but we're still piecing together the full picture. Like, how was it used?
Right.
What does this discovery truly mean?
Exactly. What we do know is that it was made of yew wood,
Oh, interesting.
which is fascinating in itself. Yew wood has been prized for its strength and flexibility for, like, forever. It was used for bows, tools, and, yes, even spears throughout history,
Hmm.
even into modern times.
I mean, it's really telling, isn't it, that even back then, they knew what materials worked best.
It makes you wonder how they figured that out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
without the tools and technology we have today, was it just trial and error? Or was there, like, a deeper understanding of the natural world at play?
Right. It's a question archaeologists are constantly grappling with. You know, it's like trying to decode an ancient language. We're looking for clues in the artifacts in the environment just to get a sense of what their knowledge systems were like.
Now, at Clacton-on-Sea, there's another interesting detail.
Okay.
Alongside the spear, they found tools made using what's called the Clactonian industry.
Right.
Basically, it's a fairly simple technique for making stone tools, just striking flakes off a core. But here's the thing. This simpler technology, it was being used at the same time as the more sophisticated hand axe technology that was spreading across Europe.
It's a good point. You know, it reminds us that technological advancement wasn't always a straight line,
Yeah.
from simple to complex. Different groups might have had different needs, different preferences, even
Yeah.
different access to materials.
Mm-hmm.
And that could lead to a kind of a diversity of tool-making traditions.
So it's not as simple as just saying, like, this technology is better than that one. It's more about, like, how they were being USD and adapted to different situations. Okay, so now let's fast forward.
Okay.
An entire ice age, in fact. We arrive at Schoningen in Germany.
Shooting it.
And let me tell you, this site,
It's like hitting the prehistoric jackpot.
it is.
It really is.
It's amazing.
It's not just the number of spears they found, it's the level of preservation.
Yes.
We're talking 10 complete wooden spews, beautifully
It's
preserved
incredible.
in this anaerobic environment. Just, it gives us an unprecedented glimpse into early spear design.
So we're not just talking about sharpened sticks here.
No, no, no.
These spears are carefully crafted.
Mm-hmm.
They show a level of design that's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are even double tapered, meaning they're thinner at both ends.
And that double tapering is crucial. Think about it. It creates a more balanced and aerodynamic spear, one that can be thrown with greater accuracy and distance.
Wow. So it's like,
It's like they understood the physics of projectile motion.
yeah. Okay, so hold on. Double tapered.
Yeah.
For our listeners who might not, have a mental image of that, can you describe what that looks like and why that might be so important?
Sure. So imagine a long straight stick. Okay. Now, picture shaving down the wood from the middle towards each end.
Okay.
So the spear gradually becomes thinner as you move towards the tip and towards the bottom. This shape helps the spear cut through the air more efficiently,
I see.
making it a much more effective weapon.
That's amazing.
Mm.
It's like they were thinking about aerodynamics hundreds of thousands of years ago. And there's more. They also found that the Shoningen spears were designed with the softer pith of the wood strategically offset from the tip.
Right, and that detail is brilliant. By offsetting the pith, they were essentially reinforcing the tip, making it less likely to break or blunt on impact. It speaks to a deep understanding of wood, how to manipulate it to create a more durable and effective weapon.
So they weren't just like throwing any sharpened stick. They were carefully selecting the right type of wood, shaping it for maximum effectiveness, and even thinking about how to prevent the tip from breaking. These were the result of careful planning skill and knowledge passed down through generations.
And don't forget, they also found throwing sticks at Shoningen. These were shorter, weighted sticks used to propel spears with even greater force and accuracy. So we're seeing a whole toolkit of hunting technologies being used together.
Throwing sticks. That's fascinating. So not only were they crafting these incredibly well-designed spears, they were also coming up with ways to improve their throwing power. That's a whole other level of ingenuity.
All right.
Tell me more about these throwing sticks. What were they like? How do they work?
Well, imagine a shorter, thicker stick with a hook or a spur at one end that fits against the base of the spear. The thrower would hold the spear in one hand and the throwing stick in the other, and they would use the stick to kind of extend their arm, leverage the spear forward, creating a much more powerful throw.
So it's like they were extending their arm, giving them more leverage and force. That's ingenious. And it really paints a picture of these early humans as skilled hunters, constantly innovating and refining their techniques. Yeah. But there's one more detail about the Shoningen spears that I find really interesting. The fact that they come at different sizes.
Yes. That observation has led to some really intriguing theories about the social dynamics of these early human groups.
Oh, really?
Dr. Milks suggests that the different spear sizes could indicate that everyone in the community, including women and children, might have been involved in hunting activities in some way.
So it wasn't just the big, strong guys out there hunting.
Yeah.
The whole community was pitching in. Each person playing a role, perhaps using spears that were best suited to their size and strength. That's a really different picture from what we often imagine about early human societies.
Yeah, it really does challenge that traditional view we have, right?
Yeah.
Of, strictly gendered roles, early human societies. If we look at ethnographic evidence from more recent hunter-gatherer groups, we often see that women and children, they participate in hunting, though perhaps in different ways than adult males. Shoningen might be giving us a glimpse into those deeper, more nuanced social dynamics.
It's amazing to think about how much we can learn about a whole society just from studying the tools they left behind.
I know.
But speaking of tools, we can't talk about the Shoningen spears without mentioning the groundbreaking experiments that Dr. Milks and her team conducted using replicas of these spears.
Yeah, the experimental archaeology. It really brings this whole story to life,
Yeah.
It moves us beyond speculation and allows us to actually test hypotheses about, how these spears were used and just how effective they could have been.
Okay, so walk us through these experiments. What exactly did they do?
Well, they took a multidisciplinary approach. They worked with javelin athletes to assess throwing distance and accuracy.
Wow.
They brought in martial arts experts to analyze thrusting techniques, and they even collaborated with communities in Congo who still hunt with wooden spears today.
Hold on. Javelin throwers, A&D martial arts experts. That's some serious dedication to understanding these spears. What were the results like?
Pretty amazing. They found that these wooden spears could be thrown accurately up to about 20 meters and with enough force to penetrate deeply into animal flesh. This wasn't just about poking or scratching. These were weapons designed to bring down large, powerful prey.
And remember, this isn't just theoretical, right? They found those butchered horse remains right there at Shoningen, backing up those experimental findings. So imagine this. Early humans working together using these meticulously crafted wooden spears, taking down massive horses. It paints a very different picture of early humans, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Not cowering scavengers,
Right.
but skilled hunters actively shaping their environment and their destiny. It really does. It speaks to a level of planning, coordination, understanding of animal behavior that's truly remarkable.
It really makes you think about what else they were capable of. But the story of early weaponry doesn't stop at Shoningen.
Mm.
The drive to innovate continued, and eventually another major leap forward happened. The
The emergence of the stone-tipped spear.
the stone-tipped spear.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about a whole new level of sophistication here.
Oh,
What
absolutely.
kind of techniques are we talking about?
Well, around 230,000 years ago, we start to see the emergence of the Levallois technique,
Okay.
which was a specialized method for creating precisely shaped stone points. It involved carefully preparing a stone core
Hmm.
so that flakes of a predetermined size and shape could be struck off.
So they're not just like chipping away at a rock randomly anymore.
No.
They're like planning out each strike,
Right.
shaping those stone points with incredible precision.
Hmm.
And this coincides with the emergence of stone-tipped spears.
Yeah, it seems very likely that the development of the Levallois technique played a key role in making those stone-tipped spears possible. Suddenly, you could create a spear with a point that was not only sharper, more durable, but also more easily replaceable.
It's like they're taking those already effective wooden spears
Yeah.
and adding a whole new level of deadliness.
Right.
But here's the thing that I find so interesting. Even with this new technology,
Mm-hmm.
those wooden spears, they don't just disappear.
That's right. We find a 125,000-year-old yew spear at the site of Leringen in Germany, right alongside a butchered elephant.
Wow.
So clearly, wooden spears continued to be valuable tools, even as stone tipping became more common.
So they're not just ditching the old tech
Nope.
for the new shiny thing. They're keeping those woody spears around,
Yeah,
perhaps choosing one over the other depending on the specific hunting scenario.
exactly. It suggests that they understood the strengths and limitations of each type of spear,
Right.
and they were adapting their toolkit to different situations.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, was there also a cultural element to this choice? Were certain groups more attached to the traditional wooden spears,
Right.
even as others embraced newer technologies?
It's like having a trusty old Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you've got a whole set of specialized tools, sometimes the simple, reliable option is still the best.
Exactly. And it reminds us that technological innovation isn't always about complete replacement.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be about adaptation, diversification, finding the right tool for the job.
Right.
Whether that job is bringing down an elephant or a horse.
In fact, their toolkit is evolving along with their understanding of the world around them, their hunting strategies, and maybe even their cultural traditions. It's just amazing to think about this constant drive to improve, to innovate, to make their lives just a little bit easier, a little bit safer, and a little bit more successful.
And that drive is what ultimately led us from those first simple wooden spears to the incredible diversity of tools and technologies that we have today.
Yeah, from a sharpened stick to smartphones, it's quite a journey. It really is humbling to think about it. That something as simple as a spear, a tool that we, just take for granted today, played such a pivotal role in human history.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a testament to that enduring power of human ingenuity, isn't it?
Mm.
Even without, all the fancy materials and technologies we have today, they were able to create weapons that were not only effective,
Right.
but also, elegant in their simplicity.
It makes you appreciate the skill and the craftsmanship
Yeah.
that went into creating these spears. They weren't just haphazardly throwing any old stick together. They were
Yeah.
carefully selecting the right wood, shaping it with precision, and even thinking about ways to reinforce the tip, improve their throwing power.
And that knowledge, it was passed down through generations. It was constantly being refined and adapted
Yeah.
to meet the challenges of their environment. It's a reminder that even, in the distant past, humans were capable of complex thought, innovation, problem solving.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of the first spears, what's the key takeaway? What do you want our listeners to remember from all of this?
I think the most important thing is to really recognize that connection between technology and human evolution. These early spears, they weren't just tools for hunting.
Right.
They were instruments of change. They were shaping, how humans interacted with their environment, their prey, each other.
Yeah, they were a catalyst for innovation,
Absolutely.
driving the development of new skills,
Mhm.
knowledge,
Mhm.
and ultimately new ways of life.
And that journey of innovation continues to this day, doesn't it?
It does.
The same drive that led, early humans to craft those first wooden spears
Yeah.
is still present in us today,
Yeah.
pushing us to explore, invent, create new solutions to the challenges we face.
So the next time you see a spear, whether it's in a museum, a movie, even just like, a picture in a book, take a moment to appreciate that long and fascinating history
Yeah.
behind it. It's a story of human ingenuity, adaptability, and that enduring power of the human spirit.
And who knows what other secrets about our, early ancestors are still waiting out there to be discovered. With every new archaeological find, every new experiment, we gain a deeper understanding of our past and, a greater appreciation for that long and winding path that brought us to where we are today.
And that's what makes this field so exciting, right? It's a constant process of discovery, reinterpretation, and pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew about our ancestors. If this deep dive sparked your interest in ancient technologies, you might also be fascinated by the evolution of early stone tools. From those simple flakes to the beautifully crafted hand axes that emerged later on, there's a whole world of prehistoric innovation waiting to be explored. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the fascinating world of archaeology and human origins. Thanks for listening.